gear.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Grumpy Bear's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at BadCube's Grump, aka their representation of Gears. And I was really excited about this guy because I feel like we were really missing some of these mini bots. You know, Gears, Cliff Jumper, Power Glide, Sea Spray. You know, a lot of these mini bots that just haven't got a proper representation yet. And so I was really anxious to take a look at them. We're going to see what worked and what didn't, and all sorts of things. But first, we're going to take a look at the accessories. One of which, as you can see, he's already holding, which is this very nice chrome blue gun. It has a nice finish on it. It is a little tight in his hand, probably due to the chrome, but it does look stupendous. It's a good sculpt and a brilliant finish on it. Of course, he comes with, remember that thing from that episode accessory, which is this tape, and you can open up his chest, and there's a little compartment, can you see, right in there, and you can slide that in. You can turn this chest plate around. It pops off. It's on a ball peg. Don't worry about it. But you can put that in there, and then you can put this back on, none the worse for wear. And remember that thing from that episode, Volume 2, which is his little thingamajig there. I think he used it to solder or to heat up something to meld to weld two metals together. I can't remember. Open this up here on his hand, tuck the hand in, close that down, and then you use that as a little port to put that in, and you're good to go. And then lastly, not really an accessory, but more so like a gimmick, he comes with a face swap option. So he has the Happy Gears face, you know, another thing from that episode. And then you can take this up, you can spin this around, and it is really tight. You want to make sure that you square this up the best you can before you go putting it back. Just take a look at the top and make sure the eyebrows are kind of even on both sides, because it's kind of a pain to do so. And then you can get the more kind of, yeah, you know, that looks really good. So now let's talk about the figure. The head is basically on a swivel, which is a bit of a bummer. You can get a bit more on the face if you want to cheat and to kind of get certain angles and stuff. Like you can use the spinning face option, but it doesn't really look quite right. But you do get this swivel. The silver paint is done really well, both on the face and on the side details there. And then the sculpt of the face is brilliant, and the blue paint on the eyes, it could look a little bit more vibrant, but I think it is okay ultimately. Moving down the figure for the chest, we have this silver paint on the chest, and it looks good, and it breaks up that red a good bit. We have a waist swivel that works just fine. Arms are on a ball peg. The peg is in the torso. It comes out to the ball joint on the shoulder. Get the arm out to there and around. Not a lick of paint on the arm, but you do get a bicep swivel and an elbow single hinge joint with nice sculpt, getting you a little bit past 90 degrees. No wrist swivel either. And the fingers don't move in addition to that. For the hips, you have universal joints. You get the full Van Damme, but it's close. You get a nice degree going forward, but it's not the full Monty. You do get the full Monty going back. Thigh swivels built into the bottom of the universal. Mine are a little loose. They're not the loosest thing in the world, but they are a little loose. Nice silver finish on mine, but I do have a paint blemish right there. Obviously, individual results will vary. I said the thigh swivel, right? If not, I said it again. The knees are basically a double joint because it's a hinge down here and then a hinge up here. But it's hard. You're really only getting a little bit out of each, but it's enough to get you about 90 degrees. So I say let's give it to him. And then moving down the figure, these flaps do get a little obnoxious. We'll talk about them when we transform them. The ankles tilt, down, up, rock, and swivel. So pretty much perfect foot articulation. Really, really well done. And the back cleans up really well. So, you know, like, I mean, he's goofy looking, but Gears is goofy looking. I think that ultimately they did a pretty great job with this. And size comparison-wise, there he is with some of the other mini bot options from, you know, season 1. And, you know, all we need is a cliff jumper, and we can wrap up this part of our collection, ladies and gents. And there he is with his mold mate, Swerve, who I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I think of at this moment. So I'm going to do a separate review on him. I did consider doing them both at the same time, but I feel like there's enough to talk about with each to make it worthwhile to split it up. So we'll just split it up. So let's go ahead and get him transformed. We are going to have to do this in 2 sections just because the top part needs so much cleaning up. You'll see what I mean. So go ahead and, well, I'll tell you what, take this out and spin this around and get these 2 tabs out here. And I will say that I find that happens a lot. Not a big deal, but just be ready. This element of the transformation is kind of, this part here is kind of irritating in general. The other thing you want to do is push the head forward. For the backpack, open up here, bring out the front cab of the truck, turn it around, not the cab, but the hood section. Open these pieces up here. You can start lining this up. There's 2 tabs here and they tab into the corresponding slots underneath. And unfortunately, getting all this to line up can be a bit frustrating. But, you know, it's BadCube, right? So we're not expecting an easy, fun transformation necessarily. Open this up here as we showed you before with the accessory, and then close that. And we'll do that again on this side. And it is sometimes challenging to split those 2 sections. All right, then the side panels here you want to open up. And as you do, just bring the arm to the other side of the panel and sit it down. And I was trying to see if there's a tab there, but that doesn't appear to be. And then you want to bring this over, and you can bring the wheels down. And these tabs here go into the side gray pieces there, which is not in focus. Those side gray pieces there, and then these blue tabs go into these ports there, and it's just a little challenging to kind of get all that worked out rather, and keeping all the pieces together. It's just I don't know, it's a pain. But it all clips in together, and then this stuff comes around here to the back. I'm gonna do it off camera. It's obnoxious. And then you bring the cab over and embody the 2 shoulder pieces while doing so. And it'll sit like that. And then you have these 2 sections and these 2 blue pieces clip around that bar. And that's the front cab done. I just need to get it cleaned up because it's very difficult to do, let alone do on camera. And I wish I could tell you that the legs are fun, but alas, they are not. So just open all this stuff up. It's another one of these exploding units. Bring this down here. Actually, just leave it open. And then open this up, turn this around as well. And just kind of fillet it. This clips into the back. If you go ahead and do that earlier than later, it'll help you out. The floorboard comes around here, and this foot flips in. And then you want to bend so that the 2 hinges create a U, basically. So 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. This comes on to the top. This piece rotates around and comes down to the bottom and should fit under there. But it's just a little challenging getting it all lined up. This all comes around to the side, that tabs into there. This whole section here slides into that cavity, and that tab slides into there. This tab on the floorboard slides into there. So let's see what we can do. And look, this stuff up here has already come undone. And we'll keep that. And it's this leg, is it not? That's all. There. So it's not quite a U. I'm sorry. That's part of the problem. And then slide this down and over. And that's one side. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Open all this stuff. Clip this into the back, floorboard around, foot up, fillet this open, and you want to, all right, no, this down, this up over, and swing this around so that you capture all that you need to capture. Bring this hinge down. And now this time it's even a little bit more challenging because you have to tab everything into the previous thing that you just did while tabbing all the new stuff that needs to get done as well. There. There. And I will clean up this front part again, and we'll take a look at it. And there it is. We'll talk about it. It can store the weapon right here, these two tabs, if it doesn't make everything else unplug, which it kind of sort of did, because I probably don't have something quite lined up right, but you get the general idea. Rolls like a champ. There it is next to Tiger Tracks. So, you know, I mean, it's obviously smaller, but it has to be, right? Because the bot has to be smaller. So I think we should all sort of come to terms with that. And there's just so much stuff. You know, like, I'll be honest with you, when I got this originally, I kind of underestimated it in terms of, I was like, well, you know, it's little. You know, what are they really going to do? But, you know, Badcube still finds a way to kind of make a transformation not really 100% enjoyable. You know, and it's a bummer because I like the way it looks in both modes. Like, it's just, you know, it's just not a whole lot of fun. You know, it's not that it's complex. You know, for Badcube, it's downright easy. It's just getting all these little tabs and everything to line up just right. One of the major problems are these tabs that tab into the wheels here underneath. You know, they move. The wheels are on a hinge here, so they move. This is on a double hinge. This is on a double hinge. So everything moves, and you have to line it up. And it's hard. You know, it's hard to keep it all kind of in line. There is a nice blue paint, it looks like, on it. It's hard to tell. It may just be like a glossy plastic, but it's either way, it looks nice. The red looks a little plain, but all the silver details and stuff look good. I wish the translucent plastic was covered with a hint or a hue or color of some sort. I got a major stress mark right there. Do you see that? Let's see if I can. So that's, you know, less than desirable, let's say. But yeah, looks okay, right? Final thoughts wise, I'm not sure really what to say here. I think that it's kind of troubling that even with a bot so small that they were still kind of not able to make it fun. You know, this was definitely their chance, I feel like. And that's probably my biggest gripe. Obviously, I could use more paint. The blue paint, like on the translucent stuff, looks great. I could have just used more of it. And there is paint here, don't get me wrong. There's a lot more paint on a small bot than you would expect from a third-party company. It's just that Badcube has really impressed me recently with their paint, like on Trailbreaker and Hoist. So I was hoping that, you know, they would impress me here, but they didn't. They didn't let me down, really, but they didn't impress me. The articulation is good. The materials are good. You know, it's just, you know, it's just not fun. It's cool, though. It's very cool. And we're going to talk about all the positives. But, you know, I like I said before, like, I really underestimated this thing. Like, I really thought, like, you know, how bad could it be? And, you know, the transformation just still whipped up on me. All right. Flip that around. Slide those together. I mean, look at the size of it. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, I decided to read a book instead. Was it War and Peace? War and Peace. But, you know, I like like I said, the materials are good, the paint is good. You know, could have used more, but it is good. The accessories work. Articulation is good. You know, the transformation is actually really smart. It's just that the couple places that make it frustrating. And to be honest, it's not that bad. It's just, it's all those moving pieces up in this area and on the back that have to kind of interlock at the same time. And then as a result, you know, when you do finally get it and you have a stress mark after it, it's just not a good feeling, you know, when you're paying top dollar for something. You know, so that's something they need to figure out. I think maybe 4 figures inside of 2 months or whatever it was, you know, might have been a bit ambitious for them. I think, you know, this might be a bit ambitious for any of these companies, you know, Takara included. Like, just slow it down, Mac. Slow it down and put something out that you're proud of. I mean, this thing popping off the ball peg. There's a lot of frustrating things, but there's enough good here where I am still very much happy with my purchase. I just can't say to you that a better version of Gears won't come at some point. This doesn't feel like the last Gears I'll ever buy, and that's a bummer. Because there is a lot that I like about it, and I had high hopes for it. So hope that makes sense. Hope that makes you or helps you with the decision. It's hard for me to say whether or not I recommend it. I'm ultimately happy with it, but I have a feeling that something better will ultimately come down the line. So I'm going to leave it in your hands. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.